Hey, what's going on, y'all? Welcome to another episode of 101 with Michael Jonvier. Of course, I'm Michael Jonvier, and tonight's topic is Entertainment 101, Black Lesbians in Media. My guest tonight will be Miss Nakia Freshie Squire. You guys know her as the creator of Breathe, Honey, you know her wife, Lacey Doll, amazing couple. They are together and separately. And tonight she's going to come on and she's going to talk to us about representation of Black lesbians in media because, y'all, it's not as popping as it need to be, and we need to get to the bottom of it and talk about that. And tonight, first, she's going to lend her wisdom, her life experience, her expertise in the matter, and how she's changing the field in that matter, okay? So, about to tune in. Let's get started. Freshie is actually already here. Trying to look too. I fixed his wig a little bit. By the way, it's not a wig. It's my actual hair. I'm just making a
Gang,
statement.
gang, what's poppin'?
Not you said gang, gang. Well, listen, I did put that song for you.
What up, though?
What is going on with you, darling?
You know, just hanging out, chilling.
Let me tell you, you be hanging out, chilling. Let me tell you, I don't know, somebody, you work and party, and it's like your work is partying for you.
Sometimes, but then sometimes it ain't. I get the same amount of sleep if I was working or partying for sure, but
Oh, my goodness. I love it, though. I love it, and of course, you know I love you. Thank you so much for coming on tonight to talk with me about this topic. And the reason I chose to talk about this topic is because, of course, I love you, and I love Lacey. I got another friend named Cassie. You know, y'all are my girls. And so I was doing some research about different studies in media, and one of them was showing that it's a lack of Black lesbians, like in media visibility, not just like on entertainment side, on journalism, filmmaking, documentaries. It's like I was like, wow, it's just like so little information out there. And then I was thinking about, you know, how you are constantly pushing the envelope with that, where you're constantly making content that stars Black lesbians, created by Black lesbians, production teams and stuff like that, and you're very influential in making that a powerful thing. So like I was like, Freshie is who I need to talk to about this.
well,
She is
thank
my
you for
go-to
that.
girl. So first of all, let me tell you thank you again. So like I said, you know me, how I like to do my interviews. I believe in having conversations. I don't send no lists of questions and stuff like that, y'all. Freshie's known me for quite some time now, and she knows she can trust me with her life. Or at least I hope you do at this point, because I got you. I got you.
Yeah.
So the first thing we're going to talk about is how did you get into entertainment, and what about it drew you to it? Because I remember you telling me that you were like a track star and stuff in school. So I'm thinking like, you know, you could have been an Olympian. You could have been doing a number of other things. But what is it about media and filmmaking that drew you to it in particular?
So first you started with entertainment, but you want us to specify for just filmmaking?
In general, because you do multiple things. You're an artist.
Yeah.
You're a content creator. You're a producer. Talk to me
I
about
just wanted to know how far back I needed to go. So
real quick.
in middle school, in 6th grade, when I was coming out, you know, I didn't really have a lot of actual friends because in middle school, that's when everybody just started bullying people and things like that. So I used music and poetry as an outlet. That's when I first started making music and all that. That's when MySpace was popping and all of that. So yeah. So I used to do like raps and stuff and make my own custom ringtones and make my music. And that's when I started
Hey.
building an online presence. And I started making a lot of friends, pen pals in different areas in the US and some people that were out of the country as well. But that's how I actually started in entertainment. From there, I kept doing music and poetry and everything through high school. And I started grabbing pictures of things while I was in high school as well. I did some picture stuff, photography stuff while I was in middle school too. I just like to document life and stories and be able to relive memories. And so when I was in high school, I started making YouTube videos. End of middle school, early high school, I started making YouTube videos, kind of like vlogs, day in the lives, little skits or whatever. And that's how the YouTube came about. I started adding in my music and my poetry to YouTube, and I started adding in the skits and stuff. And then when I got to college, I started vlogging my athletic experience. And I wanted to initially make a documentary of my college experience or my freshman year of college, but I couldn't figure that out with the sports and stuff that I was doing. But I eventually got to a point in college where I decided I wanted to make a movie script. I had a camera. I already know how to write. So I decided to try it. And that's where The Last Chance movie came from. And that was my first project.
Let me tell you, then some years later, fast forward, I met you when you were doing Breathe, which is still by far one of my top 5 favorite web series.
Oh, thank you so much.
Love it, love it, love it. And I was like, yo, who is behind this? Who is doing this? Then I met you and I was like, oh, it's a woman doing it. I was like, yo, that's what she's listening to. I was like, okay, because I'll be honest with you, until I met you, I had not met an openly lesbian, like filmmaker or producer. Like, I'm for real. As much as I had been around, I had been to New York and back. As much as I had seen a lot in life, you were the very first one I met. And I was like, she's making this series, and this one is more geared towards, like, gay and bisexual men. I was just like, I wonder when is she gonna do some content that's just, more centered towards, like, Black lesbian women. Because let's be clear about it. A lot of times I don't understand this. People feel like lesbians and gays can't be in the same space, or they can't be doing the same things, like they can't coexist. And I just never understood it. I'm like, it's LGBT, so it's room for everybody across the spectrum. Why aren't we getting along? And a lot of times when you look on TV screens, you see a lot of stuff about, the gays. You see a lot about the boys, them coming out, their bisexual experience, their sexual experience, but you don't see enough about the girls, let alone Black lesbians.
Right.
Why do you think it's such a lack in visibility when it comes to that?
You said, why do I think so?
Yeah, what is your personal feeling? Why you feel like it's such a lack of visibility, even now?
I think across the entertainment business, it's becoming, well, it's always been very hard for, it's funny that I say this now because I wrote Breathe because of the masculine presenting gay men I didn't feel like was featured a lot or shown a lot. The more flamboyant gay men were shown on, like, media or whatever. And so with making music for so long, when I did talk to record labels, I was looking for management. They always tried to make me into a more feminine artist, a feminine personality. And I think in media and film, it just hasn't been, well, now it's becoming more acceptable to have tomboys and, more masculine stud-like characters. But it's just taken a while to get there. But the entire entertainment industry has always been like that. So I just think it's, people feel like lesbians and gay guys or the LGBTQ plus community are already influencing their kids and things like that. So I just think whatever is not a norm to them that they can put in a box for everybody else and it can kind of be accepted, whether you write them as a lesbian character, but they still look feminine, that's more acceptable. So it's kind of like bending the odds to make it something that people have to think about. Even though it's a norm in real life, just art-wise and film-wise, it's not norm yet.
Unfortunately, we all used to, like, mainstream marginalization. But when it comes to, say, a community, like a lot of the web reality series, you see a web series or even just mainstream, I guess, Black gay shows, it's a lack of representation even there with Black lesbians.
Right.
Like, what is that about, you feel like?
I really just think that, in all honesty, it's just, I think people are afraid to take chances and bend the envelope. So I do appreciate when people get to the level that they need to be to do what they should do for the community. I just hate when they drop the ball.
Agreed. I definitely agree. That's actually perfectly said. I couldn't have said that better myself. When people get to the level that they should be at, but they still drop the ball. Like, you have the power, you have the clout, you have the ability and the know-how to do this so eloquently, but you decide not to. And it's kind of like, well, damn, lesbians it's too. It ain't just the guys that are watching this. Like, what are we doing about that? So flash forward to you. A lot of your content, primarily because we haven't had a new season of Breathe yet, which I cannot wait for it to start. It's, like I said, dealing with Black lesbians. Like, I love Honey. You guys, you can catch me inside of it too. I'm like a cameo appearance. You got Honey. You got so many other projects. And, like, at first I was like, well, damn, can I get up inside there? Can we see a guy or something? But I thought about it. I said, you know what? No. We don't see the girls inside of the stuff that they have for us. Why would we want to pervade their space? Like, no, let's let them have their room. When you're thinking about creating series and your characters, especially your Black lesbian characters, because they're representing you and you're creating them at the same time, do you think about damaging stereotypes or how people are going to, like, see them?
Yes, which is one of the main reasons why Breathe Season 3 script has been very hard for me to finish. So with Breathe, I tried to bend the envelope a little bit while giving, there's a gnat in here, without giving, like, I wanted to tell a story about a story that we don't see often on a level that will be understood by a lot of people. And then
Right.
in season 2, I wanted to further explain it, which is why I had 2 more masculine presenting men as the leads. Season 2, I wanted to dabble into bringing in a baby in the like, you know, a baby stuff, and like
Right.
trying to have a gay man who's actually gay now with a child and a baby mama now. In season 3, I was bringing in trans character, a
Okay.
transgender character, and then I was also bringing in more emphasis on a bisexual male character as well. But because I don't live in those shoes, I definitely didn't want to misrepresent a trans character in the script, because I don't know what that storyline will be like, because I've never lived it, and I don't have a really close trans friend. So I didn't want them to be misrepresented, because I hate when lesbians are, and I hate when gay
That's
guys
why.
are, because my friends are gay. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I try to do it the right way. And then when it came to being a bisexual man, I had to go and basically get a mentor for the character to ask me, well, how would you actually handle this situation when it happens
Right.
to you? Like, what would this be? Blah, 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 blah. What would you say? And that's, yeah, it's very important to get the character that you're building correct. But it's also taking the time out to get the research done the right way, so the script is written the right way. And that is what's also taken a long time.
But see, no, I prefer it take a long time, because you're researching. You said 2 very important things. You said you went and got a mentor, and you said you did not want to misrepresent. These are 2 things that people do not stop the damn dial and say, hey, maybe I shouldn't say this, or maybe I need to do some research before they put something out there. And what they'll put out there is a stereotype, what they think they know, instead of what actually is. And if you just take time to pick up a damn book, or call a friend, or even go to a bar and say, hey, what do you identify as? What are your pronouns? How would you deal with a situation like this? Make some notes and then go back and create the character. You know, it's more palatable. It's more real.
Yeah.
It's definitely more real. Like, some of the damaging stereotypes I want to talk about that they show when it comes to especially Black lesbians is femme Black lesbians are usually presented as bisexual. Them not knowing, it said, femme Black lesbians are presented as bisexual, not knowing what their true sexuality is, and viewing stud women as an experiment between themselves and marriage, and eventually moving on to having children, and not serious relationships. Masculine presenting Black lesbians are often in media presented as criminals and drug dealers, which is very damaging, as it makes it assumes the stereotype that to be masculine and Black is to be involved in criminal activity, even if you're a woman. And I was just like, wow.
No, but that's 100% true. And even thinking about, like, well, for fact, that's definitely how feminine lesbians are presented.
Oh, I'm sorry. And they're presented as promiscuous. It's too, the feminine lesbians, the feminine Black lesbians. Yes.
But that's what we're shown. And then even with the masculine presenting people, and I always bring up Keke Palmer in the Pimp movie, because what you just said is exactly what that was, you know, right. Crime and drugs and all that affiliation. But also, you could have found any actual stud to play that role.
Yeah.
And so that's also like one of those slaps on the face where, like, we had a perfect opportunity to give somebody an opportunity to tell this story. And I do appreciate Keke Palmer. She did it to the best of her capabilities. But it's just certain things where it's just like, you didn't even need to do that. You could have just had somebody represent the actual community and call it a day.
An actual actress who's a stud lesbian, because they are out there. They do exist.
Yeah.
We both know them. And they're very good at what they do. It's just like they have this new push now where they're saying, like, if you're a white voice actor, you're not allowed to voice any characters of color. Or if you're not a gay man, you can't play a gay man on screen. They don't want you doing that. And I think that's fair. I think that's very fair. I feel that people who are actually living the life and who can bring the life to the screen should actually be doing it. I don't want to be playing I don't need to be playing a man of transgender experience on a movie. I don't care how much I'm getting paid, if I'm not a man of transgender experience.
Now, I do know a couple of guys that have said, gay guys, that said that they would play a trans man character, because it's all about acting. And acting is the art of itself. So if I'm a gay man and I'm acting as a trans man, I'm just acting. So I have no problem with doing it. But at the same time, there's other roles you can act as that's like the problem is because it's such a, I wouldn't say a minority, even though it is, but because it's not presented as much as it should be, the rare opportunities that we have to get it right, I feel like it should just be done right. We should just appreciate it for what it is until it becomes a norm, because right now it's not a norm. So let people have their flowers while they're here and give them the opportunities to represent their community so they can see why they should have been casting us in these roles anyways, and give it the authentic character feelings and all that, so you can actually get the character properly so that it's delivered properly and appropriately. And then we know that's how we start to build things and it become more of a norm.
I tell people all the time when they say stuff like that, I give them one word, I say blackface. I said, would you want a white actor with a tan that can pass for black playing the role of somebody like a Huey P. Newton or a Malcolm X? You absolutely would not. You would be mortified.
Right.
Because they can't understand blackness. They are not black, and they don't know the history of everything that went behind that. So we can't do that to these people.
Right.
I tell people it trickles down. Everybody wants to feel superior to somebody else. And for those gay men, and I'm not trying to demonize them who are saying they will play the character of a man of transgender experience, you're robbing somebody of an opportunity to be their true selves, to educate, to show the more vulnerable parts of themselves. Like, we can't do that because once upon a time, they had straight characters playing us.
Yeah.
Dudes that had never even touched another man, looked at another man, didn't want another man, but because he looked a certain way or he was this in Hollywood or that in Hollywood, he was like, I'm going to do it. Brad Pitt recently revealed he turned down dozens of roles where they wanted him to play a gay man because he was like, well, such and such is actually openly gay. Why don't you pick him? Well, you're such and such. No. I'm not such and such.
Right.
But he is such and such. Pick him. I'm not doing it.
Shout out to Lady B. Appreciate you for supporting my boy Mikey.
Oh, thank you so much. Yes, Lady B actually just left a comment. She said, I never thought about it like that. It makes so much sense. How much are you truly getting if you never lived it? Absolutely right. Lady B also said a stud represent the real. Okay. And Angelina says she loved Kiki Palmer in the Pimp movie. Oh, wait, what's going on? Let me add Freshie back in here. Oh no, what's going on? Hold on, y'all, 1 second. Okay. Y'all, I'm not sure what's going on. Okay.
Am I back?
I'm like, wait a minute. We talking, we jam, we get in.
Listen, I'm just scrolling, looking at comments, all of a sudden the thing closed out. I'm like, okay.
The devil is alive. We're gonna have our conversations tonight.
Right.
You don't want somebody to get information, man. You don't want somebody to be like, you know what, I'm gonna do the right thing. I'm gonna go turn that roll down. I'm gonna hit my boy. I'm like, yo, it's a movie that you need to do. I hit my girl. It's a movie that you need to do. Also for me, I know, and I've had this conversation with a lot of different guys. I didn't understand how lesbian sexuality until I actually started watching the films. I didn't get it. I did not get it. I didn't understand how. I mean, I guess because when you're a man, and let's just be very clear, guys, we're talking about penetration. Penetration of some orifice on somebody's body is the goal. It's about that. It's about doing that. It's about getting that. And so for me growing up, I was just like, well, okay, I see how the guys do it, but like, how do the girls do it? Like, what does that explain by it? But I do like how your lovemaking scenes be sensual, and you show different types of relationships when it comes to Black lesbians. Like sometimes it's very tumultuous, where you're like, oh, they are definitely toxic together. And then sometimes it's like it fits just right. Sometimes they're just friends, and we need to see that across the board. That just because they're two girls that happen to like other girls doesn't mean that they automatically fucking. Doesn't mean they automatically jumping in a relationship, moving in together. Doesn't mean that they crazy. I love how you push the envelope with that. And it's good to know, like you said, you do think about stereotypes when you're doing the characters. Where does your inspiration for your stories actually come from besides, sexuality or life experience?
Other people's stories, or just honestly, Breathe never wasn't really, I wouldn't say it wasn't inspired by anything, but it was, but it wasn't. I literally just went to sleep one day and envisioned Trey in this role because he was dancing at the time. Not like stripper dancing, but kind of like stripper dancing, but not at a stripper club, guys. So, so like just thinking about him and knowing that when I watch TV, I see a feminine gay guy, but all of my friends are masculine. Like I went to sleep one night and came up with the entire first season storyline based off of those two facts. Trey was masculine presenting and he danced and he wanted to get out of the lifestyle. Nothing else. It just came. So that's why when I say Breathe was my baby, like Breathe, it just came, you know, it just flowed out easily to write.
Listen, you literally breathed it into existence. That was your birth. It is your baby. You like, you know, it's just as simple as that. When you are a true creator and a true artist, inspiration just comes to you like that and you can run with it. That's the difference between somebody who's doing it for clout and somebody who actually got it. Yeah, so Lacey's actually a better like writer than I am, and she really does her research when it comes to character development and things like that. So I think it's just a matter of being real passionate about what you're doing. Absolutely. You want to get it done right. You want there to be a reason for somebody watching something to hopefully learn something from it. Yeah, you can write these storylines and things like that, but I like to make sure there's like a learning thing to take away from my projects. A life-changing perspective or whatever. I want you to take away something from what I'm creating. And I think getting the characters right and putting down the time to make sure the script is developed properly is the best way to do that, regardless. Yeah, let's make that the norm. Let's normalize doing what she just said, taking the time to get the script right, researching the characters, like we just said earlier. It's a process to this thing. You can't just wake up and say, hey, I think I want to make a series today. Right. No. Even the most creative people that we know in modern times, Miss Issa Rae was actually talking about that. She said, you know, it's planning involved. She said she comes up with an idea, she breaks it down. What's the A plot line? What's the B plot line? How do they collide? What about this character? What about this character? What about this type of situation? One of the most researched shows, where they have so many researchers, and most people don't know this, is anything involving Power. The original Power series, Power Goes To. Really? I can see that. It's how recently a fact. They actually research different criminals, different lawyers, different police officers, different people who know how to cook drugs, make drugs, the process and everything to make this show as realistic as possible. So when they're sitting there telling you how Tariq was able to hide that he fired that gun and Tasha walked him through the steps, you got to do this and this and this, brush your fingernails, this and this, that's research. Yep. That ain't something that just came up with. Yep. That's research. Yep. No, but that's some real shit, because I even know watching, you know, Lacey was in the Navy. So when we watch stuff and they bring up the military or whatever and some of the stuff that they're saying or some of the whatever, she's like, that's not actually how it works at all. Like, that's completely wrong. So you don't want to have those type of reactions. I mean, people are still going to watch it anyways out of entertainment. But, like, that goes to, like, doing your research to make sure everything is factual. Like, I think Power did a really good job. Both the Power book and the original Power. I think they did a great job. Absolutely. Except they didn't really clarify why Kanan killed his son in the regular Power. So we watched him as a kid in the baby Power, but it didn't. But that's the only question that's left unanswered at the moment. No, I'm going to tell you. They clarified it. Snitches get stitches. You don't run your damn mouth. You don't threaten to call the police on me and turn on me like that. You my child, I love you, but the streets will deal in bodies, and that's the currency that you had to pay. One day that's just the answer we have to. That's just the answer we have to accept. But it wasn't an actual answer. It's an assumptive answer. Well, you know, maybe we'll learn something about it from watching Raising Kanan to see how he went from being this. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Raising Kanan did not answer the question. Not yet. He's still young. You know, he's just still young. But you know, it's interesting you brought up Raising Kanan because they have a lesbian character on their jukebox. Yep. And I loved her character, and I was loving the storyline until they actually killed the girl off. And that's one of the tropes that happens with a lot of lesbian storylines. One of them gets killed off. It's the death of one of them. And
okay, but yes, I hated it. But at the same time, if you just take away the lesbian part and looked at it as a black and white and privileged and non-privileged issue, like this person just got drugs and she's dealing with all her other things in her life and she's not actually happy outside of her being gay. You know what I'm saying? She just, you know, so her being privileged enough to have this type of lifestyle, but also able to smoke weed at the club, and then she takes this cocaine because it's accessible to her, you know, that's a different storyline in its own. Because, you know, but I don't want to make it a black and white issue, but that's just another thing to think about. But I did hate the fact that they killed the girl, but yeah.
And it's also the stereotype that they point back to, that as a black lesbian, especially a masculine presenting one, the way Fox is, she's involved in crime because she was boosting, she was ripping off the trucks, you know, and her family is involved in crime. She's unwittingly involved in that. But and also that brings up another thing they talk about when they show violence against violence against masculine presenting black lesbians in films and movies is highly traditional and problematic. It makes it seem that a masculine presenting woman is allowed to have violence against her simply because she dares to be a part of a man's world. Y'all, that is very problematic inside a lot of media involving black masculine presenting lesbians, where they'll get into it with a guy and he feels that because she's masculine presenting and she wants to step into a man's space, that he's going to hurt her. He's going to be violent to her. And then more so, they say usually it's violence, but a lot of times it results in rape. And yeah.
Because it's a thing, like, it is a fear of mine to be in situations like that. So I try not to have altercations with men, especially straight men, because at the end of the day, first, they're probably going to want to beat your ass because you want to act like a boy. And then on top of that, you're still a woman, so let me prove to you that you still can be, you know, that I can still do to you as I would any other woman type of shit. The right part, trying to be nice about it. But, so yeah, it is a fear of mine. So I try to avoid those type of confrontations because you never know what kind of guy you're going to be in conversation with.
That's true.
With. You don't know if the guy's going to follow you to the bathroom, if the guy's going to follow you to the car, if the guy's going to feel like he has to prove his masculinity to you, a masculine presenting female. It's different. But just like in every other category of life, you know, there's different tiers of masculine presenting women. There's some people that just like to be dressing in men's clothing because it's more comfortable. There's some people that, you know, are a little bit more masculine than just looking like a boy. And there's some people that are borderline, you know what I'm saying? Like it's a, you know, that type of, you know, it's a big scope of things, but in all actuality, it's still a fear of mine to have that situation happen.
I can definitely understand that. Well, as somebody who's an ally to the lesbian community, you know, if I'm ever around, you know, I got you. You know, I got you. Yeah, we need to normalize that too. It being okay as a man to be accountable and say, hey, it's not okay for you to treat her like that. I don't care what you think she's acting like. That is still a human being and that's still a woman. You need to step hold other men accountable. And I'm big about that. Very big about that. Your friend messed up, say something. If you know he's bugging, say something. Even if you didn't mean to do something, but the other person's offended. You don't have the right to tell them that you didn't offend them.
Right.
I'm sorry, that wasn't my intention. Let me just exit. I didn't know y'all was together.
Right.
So all the extra commentary is just not necessary. But I love that you were able to bring it up and talk about that. But that just goes to show y'all that we need to see more. We need to see a lot more. And like Freshie said earlier on, this is just the beginning stages of it. There are, you know, some headway we've made when you look at stuff by Lena Waithe. Twins is an excellent example of a show that I think you guys should watch. It's on BET. Right now it's actually airing on BET Plus. I'm praying they do another season where they actually have a masculine presenting lesbian as the star of the show. And I've not seen that before.
Yeah.
And I'm really, really happy about it. And I love her. It's very
it's a really good show. It's good.
But yeah, it's a
that's probably one of the that's my favorite show from Lena Waithe. That's my favorite project that she's had her hands in.
Okay.
She did it. That was good. That was good.
Awesome. Awesome. I love it. 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 Whew. Miss Freshie, you are truly amazing, darling. Truly amazing. So what is next? What is our next project? What's next for Freshie? And you also have a show that you hosted. So tell me about everything, the whole shebang.
The show that we're hosting?
Yes.
So every Wednesday we do the open mics down here in Atlanta. So if you guys want to buy a ticket, they're only $5 early bird. Or if you guys want to perform, it's free for you to come in. So definitely hit us up here if you're in Atlanta. Outside of that, production-wise, we got a short coming up, All That Glitters. We have another short called Bliss. We're trying to work on a Christmas movie starring me. Yeah.
Hey!
And then Stay Alive is coming out. And
Stay
then
Alive?
hopefully I can finish the Breathe. But here's the thing, Mikey.
Okay.
Everybody and their mama want me to finish Breathe. But because I live in Atlanta now, it's very hard to shoot a Charlotte-based show.
Yeah.
I don't have the time. It's just time. It's not the fact that I don't feel like driving up there. It's just time. But hopefully Breathe will be in the works in the early of 2022. But it's just a lot. But it's on my to-do list.
No, I love it. I mean, me personally, like you said, I want a great product. So I can be a little bit more patient. I want a great product. That's a really, really good show. If you guys have not seen Breathe, I encourage you to get your asses on YouTube. I'm sorry, or do y'all have another platform for them to watch it on?
It's on YouTube and Vimeo, but yeah.
Okay. You guys get on YouTube or Vimeo, however you watch your stuff, and make sure you guys check out Breathe. It's starring Freshie and Trey Love, and I personally love Trey Love myself. Yeah, I said it.
You what?
I personally love Trey Love. I said it on Instagram. It's okay. It's fine. He's life and light and walking and fluttering. I can do that. I can say that. I'm comfortable. But yeah, y'all check that out. Freshie, where can everybody follow you on social media besides here on Instagram? Because y'all can see her stuff right there at Freshie Official.
I mean, either way, y'all can follow me at Freshie Official across all platforms, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. You can also find me at Freshie Productions on all platforms. So you guys know where to find me, man. I'm here. Same information everywhere. Type in one, you're going to find me everywhere. SoundCloud, all that stuff.
Awesome, awesome. And of course, you guys, you can tune in here every Monday and Tuesday night at 7 o'clock p.m. I said pizza. I'm so hungry. At 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time for another one-on-one with me, Michael Jonvier. Tomorrow's topic, we'll be talking about the aging male model with Mr. Christopher Deloach. Chris has been a model for years, y'all. We're going to talk about, like, what's it like when you get in the industry and you're a little older and you're a guy and you're trying to do this, you're trying to do that. He's going to give the know-how. He's going to tell y'all, like, what you need to know, how you walk, how you need to do your makeup, all this other kind of stuff. Because some of y'all that's trying to model, you ain't got the basics. And I'm here to try to help you out. All right? So y'all stay tuned. Freshie, I love you. Anything I can do, let me know when I can make some more.
You can show up on Wednesday. How about that?
Yeah. I'll show up on Wednesday?
Yes.
Okay, let me do that. Let me throw on a good wig, a nice bracket. You know what I'm saying? My tallest heel, my Timbs, because it should be cold by then, or a little bit colder. And I'm going to do that. Baby got paid today, so.
Hey, there it is. That's what I'm talking about. Make it rain on them. Ah.
All right. I love you, darling. Have a good night.
Me too. You too. Good night, man.
Peace out. Hey, y'all check out my TikTok. 2,000 followers in a week.
Stupid.
At Michael Jonvier. I'm telling you, I'm live on there. I ain't any money Van Zap, but I'm doing my damn thing. All right. See y'all later. Have a good night.